Today, I'm making every faction I own a custom CMF. I'll also be showing you some tips and tricks on how I make some of these minifigures, so you can make some of your own too. To start things off, we're going to look at everyone's favourite faction, the Black Falcons. I've made a heavy knight using some fairly simple parts, but the highlight for me has to be this Prince of Persia torso I used. It has like an arrowhead pattern on it, almost like a coat of arms. The torso itself is navy blue, which goes well with the Black Falcon colour scheme. To match the silver pattern on the knight's torso, I've opted for the new Black Falcon shields. I also gave him a black head to make him look more menacing. I'm really happy with the look of this minifigure. I really like how he has a full set of black armour. It just makes him look like a proper knight and that can do some serious damage in battle. But this figure comes nowhere close to this next one. This is the Prince of the Lion Knights. The Lion Knights being a rich and powerful kingdom gave the prince some armour that would enforce their reputation. He uses the paladin armour from the D&D CMF line, but I've given him a helmet with a black head and added a flower under the feather for the helmet to give him a fancy regal look. You can use this technique with any round stud with a hole in it. I think a flower works really well for a plume as the petals all look like tufts of wool poking out. The prince is equipped with a really nice shield from Pick-a-Brick, and for his weapon he uses the Gryffindor sword. Overall, a really nice figure, especially one I wouldn't want to meet in battle. While moving away from the fancy and civilized side, we're going to take a look at the Barbarian King. This figure is one of the most powerful warriors in my medieval world. Him and his band of barbarians have been mercenaries in many wars. Because of this, they have grown very rich. I embodied this by giving him these Star Wars legs that almost look like fine gold silk. For the torso, head and shield, I have taken them from the evil dwarf CMF. I'm especially pleased with how the torso and legs match so well. He also has some shoulder pads, a Wolfpack cape, a crown of a black plume, and a shiny sword. Now that we've talked about one of the most ruthless and evil factions, I think now it's impossible not to mention the Fright Knights. Let's introduce their leader, Basil. He uses the legs, head and helmet from the new CMF that came out last year, but I've given him an old Fright Knight torso and these cool black shoulder pads that with the helmet and the Wolfpack cape makes him look very menacing. I really like the armoured look of this minifig and how all the pieces look good together, but since we're going on some of the most evil castle figures, I think it's time we go to the champion of the Red Dragon Knights. Here he is in all his glory. He's so good he even made the thumbnail, and I gotta say it's probably my favourite custom minifig I've ever made. He uses his faction's leg, but for his torso I've used his torso from, I think they're called like lava monsters or something. The red arms are actually their skin, but here it's a tunic. I've given him a Wolfpack cape and some shoulder pads from the blacksmith set, but I think the coolest part of this minifigure has got to be his head. It's from Ninjago Sons of Garmadon minifigure, and despite not being medieval at all, it works, as under the helmet you can only see his eyes. Using these otherwise unused heads and hiding the unmedieval features under the helmet is a great tip for using otherwise unused heads. He also wields this axe I built for him, and for some extra flair I clipped this minifigure hair onto his feather. But since we covered the Red Dragon Knights, I think it's fair we look at their cousins, the Green Dragon Knights. Although not being the most detailed figure, this minifigure still holds up well compared to the other ones in this figure. The highlight of this figure has got to be this Rohan torso I've used for him. It just works so well for the Dragon Knights, and I only have 2 Rohan minifigures, so I think it was a good decision to integrate them to other armies. I especially like the black and green colour scheme of this figure. We also have 2 other archers using the original green dragon torso. Speaking of archers, here we have an archer from the Wolfpack, another favourite of mine. This figure uses the Mandalorian armourer torso but backwards, as it's almost like a pelt on the front that works really well for Wolfpack. I've also given her Mando legs a black Mando cape and a black hood piece and a black bow. Overall a really great minifigure, especially one that really fits in with the recent CMF. Now that we've done 2 archers, I think it's fitting we talk about this Crown Knight crossbowman here. This figure has been seen in a few videos, but here we have its fully upgraded form. He used these cool Ninjago legs that work great for Crown Knights. He also has some shoulder pads, some gloves and this cool Passive style shield I made for him. I really like this figure and will definitely make more for my Crown Knight army in the future. Next up we have the Bull Knights. This knight uses a Crusader helmet and the Fright Knight legs. What I really like is how these legs in combination with the Bull Knight torso look almost like a surcoat. It's quite a basic figure, but I think it looks good nonetheless. This next one's a Royal Knight. He's quite a basic figure, but he uses these nice legs from the Lion Knight's castle which look really good with his torso. I suggest you make a Pick-a-Brick order soon because unfortunately this set is retiring soon. I also built this figure custom spear. It's quite simple but it just makes the figure loads better. This next figure is a Forestman Bard. When I see this figure, all that comes to mind is perfection. He uses the tools from that D&D CMF Bard and also his banjo. He also uses these random legs I found that really matches the torso well. He also has a Forestman cap and this nice head that really matches the Forestman vibe. But turning away from the proper stature of this figure, we have the Orc. Growing up in no town and having not the opportunity to buy armour, this Orc has had to steal and make his own. He used some standard Orc armour for his torso and also has these nice Lord of the Rings legs. He also has a hood which he has stolen from an unfortunate traveller. In his strong hands he carries a fine axe crafted by a dwarf, it is said, but now it is claimed by the Orc. And that's 12 custom figures, but if you want a more in-depth guide to upgrade your figures further, click this video here. Thanks for watching as always, and have a good day.